This week on One Crazy Story, comedian Matt Holt joins us to talk about the time he met Billy Squier.
Billy Squier is standing 40 yards away from me at a card table with a Sharpie, cap off, ready to sign.
Great.
By the way, he is holstered. He has an autograph chamber.
He's just
right
waiting.
now.
Is there a line? Is there a thing? No,
of course
nobody.
not. There's nobody there.
Nobody's there.
He's like at a kid's Thanksgiving dinner table.
Hello and welcome to another edition of One Crazy Story. I'm your host, Nate Armbruster, and this week I'm talking with comedian Matt Holt. Matt Holt's a very, very funny guy, hailing from Indianapolis, Indiana. He's lived all over, though. He's lived in Michigan. He's now in Kentucky. He's working on a lot of cool stuff down there. Matt's a great guy and was kind enough to come over and do my podcast. If this is your first time listening, thanks for joining me. This is awesome that you're here. I appreciate it. And if you're a returning listener, hell yeah, thank you for continuing to listen. Because that's awesome. That means you like it, I hope. Anyway, if you don't like it and you're listening every week, it's a weird choice. It's a weird life choice to make, not going to lie. I'm very excited to talk to Matt this week. So when I asked Matt what he wanted to talk about, he goes, it's about the time I met Billy Squier. And I go, well, that's interesting. You know, meeting a famous musician. That's got to be a lot of fun, right? Well, it was particularly fun for Matt because this involved sweet revenge that Billy Squier had no clue was coming, mainly because he had no clue he had ever pissed off Matt Holt. So I want you to think of a musician you really love and say one day you see an interview with that musician and they say something that really pisses you off and instantly you are no longer a fan. You're like, fuck this guy. That's exactly what happened to Matt. Big fan of Billy Squier up until he saw an interview with him where he said something that Matt didn't agree with. And you know what? Matt held on to that anger until well into his adult life. One day, Matt got the opportunity to confront Billy Squier about this issue, and you'll never guess how he handled it. And he did so without being that rude, really. Like, he did a great job of just kind of telling Billy Squier to fuck off without Billy even knowing. So it was the best revenge Matt could ever get on the guy. And in this case, it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. And I'm so glad Matt was kind enough to come on the podcast and talk about it. So you guys are going to love Matt. You should definitely check out what Matt's up to. Go to his website. Just look up Matt Holt, MattHolt. All the links to his website, his social media, everything will be available in the description on this episode. So make sure you get in touch with Matt, follow him on social media, do all of that stuff. Go see him live. He's a very funny stand-up comedian. Go see him. He tours all over the country. Also, if you enjoy anything I do, you can always follow me on social media at One Crazy Story or at Nate Comedy. Get in touch with me there. And if you love the show and you want to tell me what you think, please send me an email to onecrazystory@gmail.com. Let me know what you think of the show. Let me know if there's a guest you like or you want to hear more of. And if you enjoy the show, why don't you tell your friends. Tell your friends about it. That'd be great. That's the best way for you to help the show. Just share it with your friends. Share it on social media. Leave a review on iTunes. You can listen anywhere. Any podcast app you can think of, it's available. So there's no excuse. Thank you guys so much for listening. Now enjoy this week's episode with myself and comedian Matt Holt.
I'm going to be a little fuzzy on the year, but I'm going to say somewhere around like 1984.
Okay.
Well, 84 probably. I would have been just in middle school or just getting into high school. I'm not sure which. I know. And
it's a young Matt Holt.
Right. Yeah. And every time I say this, everyone does the math and tells me how old they were at the time. And I'm like, that just makes me...
Well, not even like at the time, but like just that this took place when you're like young.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I was expecting this to be like...
No. I was in I was either in middle school or early high school. And I was reading... back then we had magazines. It wasn't all on the internet. You know?
Yeah, back then we had magazines.
And there was a magazine called, I think it was either Cream Magazine or Hit Parade or Circus. Those were the three like rock music magazines. Okay. Kind of the Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone was out too, but these were
those underground, like kind of self-published.
So I think it was Circus Magazine. There was an interview with Billy Squier. Now, people that don't know who that is, he had a hit called The Stroke and something else. Not a lot. He had a few hits. In the 80s, he was big, though.
Yeah.
I think he was on the Fast Times at Ridgemont High soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I read this article. I was a fan. I mean, I had his music.
Well, that era, too. You're going to...
Yeah, what else you listen to?
Yeah.
So... he had an album that had come out that was not very well reviewed. The critics did not review it well, and it wasn't selling terribly great. So this interviewer said, this album seems to be struggling compared to your past albums. A lot of the fans are saying they're not enjoying it as much as your previous stuff. What do you think about that? And his reply was, well, I really don't make music for my fans. I make music for myself. And if my fans would like to come along, they're welcome to, but really I do this for me. And at that point I'm like, fuck Billy Squier.
Right.
This is, I'm buying this.
Yeah. What a
so I'm pissed. I'm pissed off. We'll
great.
say this is 1985. Okay. I'm angry.
Yeah.
Right?
God damn, that's Matt Holt off.
Oh, I'm done. And I've got tickets to see him.
That's great that you had this feeling as a elementary school age. Fuck this guy.
I had tickets to see him 3 months after that. It was Rat and Billy Squier. It was a co-headlining bill.
Wow.
It was fantastic. I went with one of my friends from high school. He was a moron. He was like, who do you think's going to go up first? I'm like, well, it's got to be, who knows?
Who's going to open that show?
That's what, and so then he had this dumb idea that wouldn't it be cool if Rat sang a song and then Billy Squier sang a song? Who the fuck, what's wrong with you? Who thinks that they're going to, tear a drum kit down every song?
That'd be so crazy.
Yeah, that's a gig that I'm surprised we haven't done.
I know. I'm going to do a joke, Matt's going to do a joke. I'm going to do a joke. We're going to split it.
And we have to intro each other every time.
Yeah. Oh, and every time. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Matt Holt.
I wouldn't mind trying that.
That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah.
And
don't tell the crowd that we're doing it.
No one knows.
Yeah. We just
We're going to bring up your next guy, Matt Holt.
So funny.
The guy you saw before me.
So,
we couldn't decide who's going to close.
So I live with this anger. Mm-hmm. And I'm the kind of guy where I will sit on frustration and anger for years.
Especially something like Billy Squier.
So fast forward to Billy Squier is pretty much out of my life at this point. We're not really.
I'm glad
we're not on good terms. We're estranged from one another. He's unaware, by the way, that we're having trouble. This is so funny.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is great.
So he has no clue that he and I are at odds. And so in 1999. So we're talking 15 years later.
A pissed off Matt Holt.
Oh yeah, just seething with anger.
Still every day.
Can't sustain a personal relationship because of the anger I'm carrying from this.
You're
Billy
bringing
Squier
this
thing.
into
absolutely.
Your personal relationship.
Yeah, Billy Squier's baggage is
so
everyone's baggage in my life. So I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and I walk into Tower Records. Right, it's on Vanderbilt University campus.
Was this premeditated?
No. I just happened to walk in.
Were you wait, in 99, were you doing comedy?
Not yet. I had not yet started comedy. Okay. I was about 2 months away from my first open mic.
Did you go to Nashville to do this?
No. I went to Nashville. I was dating a girl in Nashville, so I was driving back and forth every other weekend to see her.
Well, you happen to be in town.
Yeah, so I'm in Nashville, and
there's a reason you met this woman.
Right.
This is the reason
she was placed in my path. Without a doubt, she was a pawn in this whole thing. She was at work on this day, and
what are you gonna do when your lady's working? I'm gonna
go buy some music.
Yeah.
So I go to Tower Records. And it's on Vanderbilt University campus. It's on West End in Nashville. It's very trendy. It's very busy. I go into Tower Records. I'm looking around, and I see a sign that says, "Today, in-store appearance, Billy Squier." It's like on a whiteboard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is
shit.
Great.
This is meant to be.
I have a friend there who's with me, and I look at him and I go, hey, just go along with me.
Does he know your history?
He doesn't know the story. He doesn't know anything. He is blind at this point.
This is completely uncalled for in this person's eyes.
Absolutely. He is basically on the piggyback ride of his life.
So great.
So, and I go, just go along with me. And we've been friends for some time, and so he's used to me saying, go along with me.
Yeah, right. Like, what's the worst? You're a good person.
At the time,
I could do this.
In the music industry, if you go to a store that sold music, which is an antiquity now, but you go to a Best Buy or something, they used to have, in the aisle, there was a big display, like a big bin, and they had cassettes, and these were cassettes that had not sold well.
Right.
So they were called cutouts.
It's like the $5 DVD bin at Walmart.
Exactly. So they were called cutouts, and the reason they called them cutouts is on the spine of the cassette case there was a little notch in it that meant that it wasn't a good seller, so they were discounted.
Okay.
And they were like $1.99 or whatever.
Yeah.
At the time, a cassette was like $9.99. So we go.
Damn.
I take him to the cutout section, me and my friend, and I'm looking through it, and I'm grabbing these cassettes. And I pick up like a Thompson Twins and probably a Dio.
Yeah.
There's like 4 I bought. I pick up. One of them is like the first Billy Squier, like his first album.
Oh man.
So I picked that up. So I have these 4 cassettes.
This keeps getting more and more like
this
meant
is
to
so
be.
premeditated. It's ridiculous.
I love it.
So I walk up to the counter and I set the cassettes down, and the cashier, she's ringing everything up, and luck be what it is. The last one she picks up is Billy Squier. She picks up the final one, which is the Billy Squier cassette, and she goes, "Billy Squier, he's here today."
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And she goes, "No, he's in the store doing an in-store appearance." And I go, "Oh, that's cool." And she goes, No, he's here. Like nobody's
blown
here.
away.
Like he's in the building, and you're buying this. And I go, yeah, it's great. And she's like, no, he's right over. And she points.
That's
and
so great.
Billy Squier is standing 40 yards away from me.
Yeah.
At a card table with a Sharpie, cap off,
That's
ready
so
to sign.
great.
By the way, he is holstered. He has an autograph chamber.
He's just
right
waiting.
now.
Is there a line? Is there
No,
a big? No,
of course
nobody.
not. There's nobody there.
Nobody's there.
He's like at a kid's Thanksgiving dinner table. Like a fold-out card table.
Like that one right there.
Yeah, he's like at a euchre table. And he's just standing there, and he's got the cap off of the Sharpie, just praying that someone comes and asks for an autograph.
And what are you? And
I
what
look
is
over
your?
and I go, okay. And I'm going about my transaction, right? And she goes, no, but he's Billy. She leans back. Billy, this guy, he's here. He's buying your, and he looks over. She goes, what? And she goes, we have a customer who's buying your music right now. He's got, and she's like rattling the cassette.
Yeah, right.
And next thing I know, Billy Squier in his rock star clothing comes walking over, and he's got, I never will forget this. He has the cap of the Sharpie in his hand and the uncapped Sharpie in his right hand. And he's like, hey, how's it going? And he comes walking up. I go, hey, how's it? Nice to meet you. And he's like, so what, you're picking up some of my music? And I go, yeah.
Yeah, it was a cutout.
And he goes, great. He goes, you want me to sign that for you? And I go, oh, no, it's not necessary.
Oh, my God.
That's not necessary.
Oh, my God.
And he goes, well, I don't understand. I go, no, I don't need you to sign it. I don't need it.
No.
He goes, well, I'm here. You know,
do you want me to just
I'm happy
sign
to. I mean, it's easy. I can just. I go, no, it's fine. And he's like, I don't understand the problem. I mean, I'm doing an in-store appearance, and I mean, if you're buying, I would be happy to. I go, no, I understand what you're saying, but it's not.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
Good.
He's
it's
like,
good.
I guess I don't understand the problem. Now he's furious.
That's so great.
And I go, all right, look, this is now kind of embarrassing.
So you have to tell.
Yeah,
so you have to explain everything to Billy Squier.
Right. I go, look, here, this is a little embarrassing, but I record a lot of my own music at home, and a blank TDK tape, that's a brand. I go, a blank TDK or Maxell tape is like $5.99 a piece. These are $1.99. I buy these, I take them home, and I tape over the notch on the cassette, and I record, and you just see this moment of clarity. This light bulb hits in his head, and he goes, you mean you're buying my music, and you're going home, and you're recording other music over it? And I go, yeah. He goes, so you're recording over my music. I go, not just your music. I've got this cassette, and I've got this one. I just happened to grab 4.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know you were here today. And he goes, so let me understand. You're recording over my art. And I go, yeah, I guess so. He's like, I'm not signing this fucking thing. I didn't ask you to sign it. I asked you 4 times not to sign it. He goes, I can't believe that you're doing that. I go, I didn't know you're going to be here.
Yeah.
And he goes, so yeah, I'm not signing anything for you. You need to take off. I go, I'm leaving.
Right.
This wasn't part of my day.
Yeah, I was just buying some tapes.
Yeah, and I just walked out, and I thought, making music for your fans now, aren't you, you dumb bastard?
So great.
And I don't know what happened after that, but that was my Billy Squier story.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
one of the you know Stuart Huff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one of the first times I was around Stuart Huff. Stuart and I have been friends for probably 15 years.
Okay,
and we were sitting at a diner one night, and Billy Squier comes over and I go, I fucking hate Billy Squier. And he goes, whoa, where's this coming from?
Yeah, right.
And I tell him the story, and he goes, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
That is
in my
amazing.
Life. He's like, you have to talk about that on stage. And it's been 10 years probably.
Yeah.
Before, and I just started trying to find a way to tell the story on stage.
That's so funny though. Just the idea that you have to explain to anyone like that.
Yeah. And
like,
someone even
to
said
their
to me,
face. Like, you could have lied. You could have just said, well, so say you hadn't had all of these bad feelings.
Right.
Maybe if this happened in a world where you did not hate the man.
Right.
And he came up to you and you saw he was lonely at that table and was like, I want to sign that. Would you have just said, sure, man, and not have gone out of your way to tell him you're going to record
happened.
it? That's true.
The whole thing was manufactured.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm into this bit about 45 minutes of my time, and $8 plus tax for the 4 cassettes that I'm purchasing that I literally just went out and threw in the trash. I didn't need this. Was all investment
so
toward
funny.
Ruining his life.
That is so funny.
So I don't know how that would have worked out otherwise. But I've had friends that I've told that story to, and they've said, "Man, if I ever ran into him, I would ask him if he remembers that." I'm sure he doesn't remember this.
Right.
I'm sure he has shut that out of his mind immediately because
how many experiences, like, because your voice kind of, you guys got kind of loud.
Oh yeah, we were
right?
getting loud. Yeah, he's furious.
He's got to remember that.
He's
right?
furious with his big.
Because look at what we do. How many individuals do you remember about, like, that either, like, oh, the other guy was better?
Oh yeah,
like, where you like overhear that shit? I'm like, oh, I remember when people, you remember little shit like that.
Yeah,
if it really got to him.
I guess I never thought about.
If it really got to him as a creative person, a man buying his music. Could you imagine, like, we're just in a store and someone's buying your album? Like,
right.
it'd still be kind of like, holy shit, somebody's just into my stuff. Like,
Yeah, but I'm enough of a whore about selling my shit that I don't care what you do with it once you take it home.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, buy it. I don't care.
I would be honored if you recorded over anything I put out.
Like I worked with Jimmy Pardo for a long time, and Jimmy would say, yeah, I sell a CD after the show, it's $10, you buy it or don't buy it, or buy it and break in front of me. I don't give a shit if I got the $10. It's like, well, you got me, whatever.
Right, you get to do what you want with that.
It's whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
But now I think about that, and I've never thought about this until we sat down to talk about it. Anyone that was on the periphery of that exchange, I would love to know their experience. Yes.
Yeah.
Because the cashier, she was the catalyst to everything.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't pull that, this is not happening.
Yeah, totally.
Like it requires her to be what I expected that cashier to be. I had a lot of faith in her. I put a lot
you couldn't have asked for a better, because like when you did mention it was like, oh, you're like, no, I planned this, and I'm thinking like that still was. Some of that was just like beauty. You know what I mean?
Hey,
you just got to just be in.
It's buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
I spent $8 on the lottery tickets, and thank God Billy Squier was the Powerball.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was. I have told. Seriously, I've told that story since it. I didn't say anything initially. I told my brother about it like right after, and but I didn't tell anyone else because it was like everyone else would think I was an asshole.
Yeah.
But by 99, he was pretty much done. He's probably doing like the Rib Fest circuit, and all that kind of stuff. And I have not seen him out in any kind of performance capacity at all.
I haven't thought about him.
And we would see him in Michigan with Soaring Eagle and all those places, but I've never seen his name.
That's so fun. You think he stopped touring because of you?
I hope so.
God, could you imagine if that was like?
I would take that to my grave.
Dude,
I would want
epic.
that. That would be in my intro from now on.
Yeah,
this guy stopped Billy Squier from touring.
This guy single-handedly
shut down Billy Squier.
Retired Billy Squier.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
I probably shouldn't be as proud of it as I am.
No, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I can't think of anyone I would want to do that to, or to like ever get the chance to really, because we all say, how much you hate whoever it is, Kim Kardashian or whatever. Oh, she's awful. If you ever met that woman, would you really just say, you guys suck, you ruin or wouldn't you just kind of just go, hey, that's crazy?
Especially now being in a creative endeavor now, I'd be less likely to do it now.
Yeah, like to wait just because I'm like, man, you haven't really pissed me off that much that I would actually tell you off if I met you.
Well, keep in mind, in '99 I was 30. Yeah. Like I wasn't a child. I'm a 30-year-old man. I just gone through a 9-year marriage and divorce. And
my God,
I was about
You've
to
been
enter
through
into,
some shit.
Oh, I was. I was about to get to. I had my date scheduled for my first open mic. So I had all this stuff in front of me and everything, and I was a productive member of society. I had a corporate job, and people worked for me, and I had a 401k. I mean, all this shit. It didn't matter. On that day, I became the most rudimentary version of a human being I could be.
That is so amazing.
It took me back to 1985.
Wow.
It was. I can still see that whole day. I can still picture walking in to that Tower Records. I remember everything about that day. Yeah. And I've done things like that. And Nashville was a catalyst. There were a lot of things in Nashville I did. I was in a Borders bookstore, not far from that Tower Records. And there was a card table set up. And I looked at my buddy and I go find me 4 copies of the same book. And so he comes back with these 4 books.
Just some author.
Yeah. So he just brings back.
It's not like J.K. Rowling. It's not like some famous author. It's just
the more obscure the better.
Some self-published, just a book. Working, yeah.
So the guy my buddy shows up, gives me 4 copies of a book. I set on the table. I then stand on the other side of the table. Mm-hmm. And I stood there, and the people walked by and go, hey, how's it going? They're like, great. I go, want to get a copy of my book? And one person took the book. I signed the book.
That's so great.
They're like, yeah, would you sign it? I'm sure. And I'm looking around, and there's a Sharpie on the ground next to the table. So I pick it up, and what's your name? And I sign it with that person's name, and they walk up.
So funny.
Yeah, so it was, I was a little more fearless.
You gave that guy a
then.
sale, though.
True.
Would you get, I was going to say, could you get mad? Imagine coming back to your merch table, and like someone's just selling your shit as theirs.
I would love that.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah. Wouldn't that be kind of like, and they also sold a bunch?
Yeah. Have you worked a club where the club does your sales for you?
Yeah.
Punchline in Atlanta, they will run, like you just stand there, but they're the ones exchanging all the money and everything.
Yeah.
Well, it was like the closest I ever to having a pimp.
Right.
It was amazing. I knew I was being protected.
I think that helps sales too, especially.
I think so too, because I sold a lot.
Well, and you can also like talk to people and just go talk to that guy. He's got it all.
Right.
Like you can really connect with people as opposed to going, here, buy my shit. And then as you're taking money from someone, 5 people walk by and you're like, no, shit. Like I want to.
Or you get that one guy that has the story he wants to tell you about his uncle.
Oh my God. Oh,
Jesus Christ, man. Can you not do that?
Every show, there's that guy.
I hate it.
I don't think I've ever not had an experience like that after a show.
Yeah, it's the worst. Because you walk that line of being the guy going, hey, can you not do this now? I'm trying to get gas to the next place. I'm knocking water over your table.
That's so funny.
Yeah, merch sales are
trying to work, man.
My least favorite part of the night, but it's the most essential right now.
Yeah, it does feel weird.
It does feel weird. Yeah, it's not fun. But But now maybe I'll start selling Billy Squier cassettes.
I would.
I can probably get them cheap.
Yeah, probably. If you tell this story on stage, eventually it could be something you could totally do.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, like who knows? I mean, I kind of want this to go back full circle and maybe get into some kind of a Twitter war with Billy Squier.
I'll tag him in this for sure because he needs to hear this. Imagine if he remembers this shit. Like he could be listening right now.
Well, I mean, he's got time on his hands.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know what he's doing. He might be doing great things, or he could be.
Have you even looked him up?
I have not. I have no idea what he's doing.
I feel like this still bothers you a little bit.
It bothers me that because I'm going to assume that it didn't. I think it probably affected him immediately, but then thanks to chemicals and whatnot, I would imagine it didn't stick with him very long. And now it's probably to that point of his life where he's like, no, it never happened.
Yeah.
I
mean, who knows? He does, someone that lives a life like that experiences a lot of shit.
Yeah. And why wouldn't you shut those things out?
Right.
There's shit that happened 3 weeks ago I don't remember.
Yeah, that's true. I don't remember what I did 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I'd be like, wait, was that Monday? Or was that?
Oh, yeah. Days don't make sense to me now at all. Like, it's like today's Friday. And talking to a friend, and I'm like, why is he not responding? Oh, he's at work. That's why. It's Friday. It's not a weekend.
Same thing. Because every day feels like the weekend.
Yeah, it's insane. So, but yeah, Billy, if you're listening, no hard feelings. But it's worse. I did not record over your music. I literally put it in the trash, in the trash can outside of Tower Records.
That's so crazy.
I literally walked outside, laughed, and put all 4 of those cassettes in the trash can.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna record over that.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't record anything.
I can see him. I could see him like just looking at you walking out. He's in the window, sees you throw these in the garbage.
I just remember his face as he's trying to process why I don't want his autograph. And I'm like, no, it's fine. He's like, no. Like he's like doing the internal math in his head. He's like, well, you're here and I'm here. I have the Sharpie. Well, let's get together on this.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm baiting him appropriately.
Right.
If I could act as well as I did in that situation in any audition I've ever done, I would probably be well known at this point.
You'd be working everywhere.
That's what I need to do when I go for an audition. I need to go to my Billy Squier headspace.
Seriously,
and then do that.
The Squier method.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I start selling.
The Squier method.
Right? You want to be disingenuous.
You're like a
self-help.
You're like a life coach now. Life coach Matt Holt. I like to teach what I call the Squier method.
He had one of his albums was called Signs of Life, so I could be a Signs of Life coach.
Signs of Life coach.
Right? We tie it all together.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I like it. I'll do seminars. We'll do a TED Talk.
Dude.
Maybe it's
do it like in character though.
Yeah, maybe this ends with
almost
me
like
and Billy doing a podcast together.
Yeah,
like we're co-hosting a podcast.
Like you start satirizing, like Billy Squier's life as like a life coach or whatever.
Right, like a Tony Robbins version of
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh yeah, this has
got legs,
stuff, man.
Yeah, it's got legs.
I think you're onto something.
I hope so. It was fun. I told Stuart Huff. Let's see. I did that story for the first time on stage. May 11th at the Laughs and Loggers in Frankenmuth.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I'm going to try this tonight because that was one of those gigs where I was doing 4 different shows, and I've been up there a lot.
Just switch it up.
Yeah, so I'm like, have fun. These are people that have seen me, and so I told that story twice in those 4 shows. And the first time it was great.
Yeah,
and
it always goes so good. The first time you try something like that, and it goes great.
It's that cherry delivery.
Yeah,
and then honestly, I'm so bad about it. I couldn't remember because like I did have a punch that worked, and then next time I did it, I didn't remember what the punch was. So then I was just like, of course I was, drinking. So
sure. Yeah, I mean there is that.
There's that.
Yeah, there's a few stories or like story-like things I want to try, but I try to get to them where I'll just kind of go with just here it is, and sometimes it comes out just better than I ever could have like written it word for word.
I think you have to be willing to do it and stand and take the punch.
Jumping without a parachute, man. You just got to find your way out,
Absolutely. And that's how I've written most of my act is that way.
I think the funniest things I've ever said have come about that way.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Because you're at your most spontaneous, you're not filtered.
Yeah. And it has to be funny. You have to make it funny before the end of it, or else you're going to look like a real dipshit.
Oh, God, that's the worst, too. Because you end up
I look like a dipshit a lot on stage.
Me too. I've done that. So you're like, so anyway.
I was real excited to tell this. I was real excited. That happened to me last week, and it wasn't quite sold out, but it was a good show. And
nice.
and I was like, I got him. This is going well. Here's that newer thing. I was towards the end. I'm like, all right, I got him. They like me. I'm gonna try this, and nothing, nothing. And then I go, I thought we had something.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gotta.
This is weird.
You have to have an exit strategy.
Took a turn, man. It was like going just going good, steady laughs the whole way. They're into it, which I don't know. It's fun when it happens like that.
Right.
It's like a perfect night, and then I ruined it.
I was explaining to
I just ruined it.
A friend who's not in comedy. Because anytime I'm around and he's going to come see me, he always says, "So you have any new material?" I'm like, not a lot. I mean, I'm working on it, but no, not a lot.
Yeah.
He's like, and he goes, "What about that story you were talking about? Whatever it was." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not ready for stage." He's like, "Well, just do it." I go, "Dude, let me explain this is how comedy works. Comedy's like music. When you go see a band, that maybe you don't love, but you're familiar with them, like you like some of their music. you go see Train, and as long as they're playing Drops Jupiter, you're fine.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, when they pull out something the new they're working on, everyone's like, "Fuck this!" That's comedy.
Yeah.
It's like, give me the shit that I like, and I don't.
Yeah, and especially, and then if the audience doesn't know who you are, it's like, I can't just. You know what I mean? I gotta make a good impression on these people.
Oh, yeah, and the booker you have to make an impression on.
Yeah, we can't just come back when we want. You still got to do good.
Right. It reminds me.
It's like I can't just like someone like Louis C.K. who would just run and he's just having him on your stage makes your club more valuable.
Right, absolutely.
Doesn't matter where. So of course he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And he can make people put their phones in bags.
Yeah, it's like if you've seen Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Okay. When they're playing at the amusement park and they do their jazz fusion, that's what doing a new joke for the first time ever on stage. It's like, all right, here's this. You guys are probably going to hate it, and it's going to chew up way too much time, and then I'm also going to lose so much momentum that it's going to take me double that time to get you back. But I want to see how this joke works. And what's it work, 5% of the time?
Yeah, right.
But that's the only way I can do it.
It takes a while. Yeah. It's got to develop,
Yeah, I can't sit.
That's why you see some guys over a 10-year course doing the same shit. It's like, but it's like perfect. You know what I mean? It's like every single word and breath and stuff. Yeah, like there's still, I don't want to be that guy personally for my own goals and stuff. I don't want to be that
I don't
guy.
either.
But the people who do it, who are really, really good at it, it's still something to like. I think it's impressive still in a way. Where I think I'm just like, holy shit! If I could ever get my material. Shit that word for word, just like
And if it's yours, if you've written it and crafted that material, then it's
amazing.
But then we also know the same segment where we have people who have been doing the same thing for 10 or 15 years, but it's just hacky, Viagra jokes and shit. And I was doing a show in Wisconsin, and it was a dual headliner show.
Okay.
And when I do one of those, typically, unless I'm working with like a friend or something and we can kind of work it out, it depends on the booker, but there are some bookers, and you know who we're talking about probably, but that they typically don't have the best roster of talent. There's some really old standbys that they use. Yeah. So whenever I work one of those, I will always volunteer to go first. I'm like, I'll go first. That's fine, because I don't care about being last, and I'm going to do as well as I can, and then let's see how
it's all good. Yeah. No pressure here,
Yeah. So I do this gig, and the other comic comes up and he goes, "So how do you want to do the show?" And I go, "I'll go first. I'll do 45 up front, and you close 45." And he goes, "Yeah, that probably would work best." And I go, "All right, now you're being a dick."
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I record a podcast before. Some of the locals had a podcast. They had me on, and I was talking about how in comedy there are people that do a lot of very hack premises and things like that. And they said, "Oh, really? Like what would be one?" I go, L.A., New York. Kind of stuff, airplane stuff. I go, Viagra's a big one. I go, the 4-hour Viagra joke is. I go, in fact, I'll do a joke tonight. That's my version of that.
Yeah.
And I go, okay. So I go on stage and I tell a joke, and my joke is, so I saw a commercial for Viagra, and they said that the side effects are you could have an erection that lasts 4 hours. And they said to call a doctor. I said, look, I'm here to tell you folks, if I have an erection that lasts longer than 4 hours, I'm not calling a doctor. I'm calling every comic that does this joke.
That's funny.
And it erupts, goes crazy. The guy who's closing the show does the goddamn Viagra joke. He wasn't watching me.
Oh my God.
So he does hilarious. The very joke that I made fun of, and the crowd just went away from him. They would not go
That's
on the rest of the show.
Hilarious.
And I'm like, I wish I would have recorded this.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
I feel like too depends on how the comic is. Like I feel like that could either go like, oh fuck this guy, or it could go like, that's hilarious. That's the joke that the other guy said.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that happened to just
the podcast guys loved it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And but any comic who would get mad at that isn't going to appreciate the joke anyway. And if they appreciate the joke, then they're not doing a Viagra joke anyway. So
or if I saw you do it, I'm definitely not doing it tonight.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, right. Like that's. I mean, I've only ever been in that position once where I saw the guy. Like I watched the MC did a joke similar enough to mine where I was like, oh shit, I'm glad I saw him do that because I just won't do it.
Right. Yeah.
It's just one of those things. And then whenever I see that, I'm like, well. obviously he didn't steal it,
right?
Because I've never met the kid before, and it was just a weird coincidence, and it was like it was just really close in subject, and it was like, damn, definitely can't do that bit tonight. Right. But had I not seen it, I would have looked like such a douche.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you're not paying attention, you and I did a show together a long time ago, and the headliner had told me, "Oh, I'm excited to be working with you because I'm doing all new material now." And then did a show, and then after the show, like, "Hey, when's that? What's happening with the new material?" It's like, "What are you talking about?" I go, "It's all the stuff that you were doing 9 years ago. I mean, I haven't seen you in 9 years, but that's what I remember." He goes, "Oh no, that's all new." Mm-hmm. Is it? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, changing wife to ex-wife doesn't make that new. Right? It's not new.
It's a new bit. I got this new bit.
Yeah, new bit.
all my wife material is now ex-wife material.
It's hysterical. God.
That's so funny. Holy shit. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I also have seen too, this guy, I can't remember who's telling me about this. Somebody was mentioned that the headliner would call back to hit one of his bits every show. Mm-hmm. But he was a huge dick to him off stage.
Right.
And then the last show, and he never watched his set, but he would always open with the same callback and would just, crush right up front. And he was like, fuck this guy.
Just don't,
yeah. So he doesn't do it. And the headliner last show of the week opens with the callback and nothing.
That's awesome.
Looked like a huge dick. It was so funny.
I love that because that means that the headliner is assuming that the feature only has that material.
Right.
And can't. That's...
Yeah.
I like any time where like the comedy universe kind of writes itself.
Yeah.
It's like watching a Mother Nature film or something. Mm-hmm. I like any of that. I like. It's at some point that's what you have to look for in this business. Otherwise, you just get so depressed.
It makes it fun.
Yeah, and you have to find something like that. God. There are times where I enjoy working with people that I don't want to work with because I'll try to find something like that.
Right. It is. Yeah.
So I have a group of friends, different people for different situations. That when I'm in a weird spot at a show or on the road, I have someone I can text send the situation to,
bond over.
And they're like, "Oh, gee, this is amazing." So you have to go nuts.
That's so funny.
But great. I don't think those people, the ones that we're talking about, I don't think those people have those people because they're so oblivious and they think that they're the Billy Squiers of the world. To bring it back to Billy Squier.
Jesus, that's amazing.
Wow.
Man, Matt. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I've wanted to do this for a while. So.
I appreciate it. It takes it's weird when I'm like, oh man, people really. It's nice that people actually want to do this shit, and it also gives me a reason to shoot the shit with you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Without having to be like, we'll work together once every year or so, and just.
I would anytime. I would love to do that. So
yeah, so this is always fun. What do you got coming up? You got want to plug anything while you're on the show here?
Yeah, I've got a ton coming up. So the reason that I moved to Frankfurt is my record label, which is On Tour Records, is based there, and I was the first artist on the label, and we now have 62 titles
now.
I
was looking at the website. You guys have some great
we have a lot.
comedians on the
label. Roster's great. I'm really proud to be part of the roster that we built. And so the owner of the label is Ross Duncliffe, and he reached out to me and said that he wanted to start producing podcasts. And so he asked if I would come on board and launch that part of the business and kind of run that. So I relocated to Frankfurt. We built a podcast studio. We built out some offices. And we are launching the On Tour Media side of the business. And we will launch, I don't know when this comes out.
Probably next one.
Okay.
A week, yeah.
So probably a week or two after the people are hearing this, we will launch Stuart Huff's podcast.
Great.
And that's called Stuart Huff's Obsessive Curiosities.
Yes. And Stuart Huff is hilarious for anybody who doesn't know.
This podcast is really cool. I won't tip the hand on it, but it's really cool. So he's already recorded the entire first season.
Great.
He came down and recorded 20.
Oh, he's going to do an episodic thing?
We're recording a full season of it just because it's the only way we can get Stuart to do it.
Schedule-wise, it works.
Right.
Yeah.
So he came in and recorded like 28 hours of programming.
That's amazing.
And then we're doing
that had to have been
it was
so
amazing.
much fun.
It was one of the greatest things. So, and I'm on 4 or 5 of those episodes, but so that launches sometime in the next few weeks.
Cool.
And then September 1, I'm launching a craft beer podcast.
Hell yeah.
I'm doing with my buddy Lou DeGrant.
Yeah.
And that's called Another Beer Podcast with Lou and Matt. So we're launching that sometime at in September 1 time frame. Other than that, just touring around.
Yeah, you're still working the road like crazy, right? Like, on top of all that, so
like 47 weeks on the road. So next year I'm pulling that back.
Yeah, probably
because I can't do all. I
It's
can't
crazy.
get it done.
I see everywhere you go, and I'm like, dude, how are you juggling it all right now? It's crazy
right now. So we're trying to launch the podcast thing. So
that's exciting.
And just find me on social media.
OnTourRecords.com.
Yeah.
And then what's your website?
MattHoltComedy.com.
All right, and Twitter, Instagram, all that shit.
It's all at Holt Comedy.
There
and then
you go.
I've got the beer podcast has a Twitter and all that stuff.
Sweet.
So
And there'll be links. I'll put links to all your stuff in the description.
That's awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.